a prayer and a pledge of allegiance and pledge of allegiance. And Richard, would you mind coming up and doing prayer, please?
Dear God, thank you for another day in your service, and we thank you for these leaders that have been appointed by the city and elected by the city to handle your business. They're going through some very important decisions today, handling the finances of the city. Let them keep you in mind and what you would do and your will in mind as they deliberate through this special session, and also tonight through the regular board meeting. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and may we have the roll call by the city clerk, please?
Alderwoman Hall. Here. Alderman Frazier. Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderwoman Irving.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Alderman Maroney.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, and thank you also to our Mayor Pro Tem for starting the meeting. I have been in a meeting on a very important matter that we are working on, and hopefully we'll have very good news for you soon on that. At this time, we will follow our agenda for the special call meeting, and I will introduce now our city clerk, who has been hard at work to lead us in a discussion of the budget. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. So since our special call meeting on Thursday of last week, the board brought some requests to me as far as some items that they wanted to see added to the budget. That has been done. Able to get those inclusions made, and we are still ending with a positive balance within the general fund. So it is much less than it was last week, I believe. It's just over $27,000 is our ending balance in the general fund. So don't really have any other changes to report on, so I guess at this point, just, you know, any questions or discussion that the aldermen have.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do want to make a couple comments. We have been very blessed to have you as our clerk working us through this process. We are also very grateful to have some great department directors who are here tonight, who have collectively helped you to find over $2 million in cuts. We also have found positions that we no longer were filling, and that we were able to reduce the size of city government by attrition, not by any layoffs in this budget. We also have found an opportunity to provide some significant raises, some raises for our public works crew members. It would be their fourth raise since 2020. To also provide raises for our firefighters. It would be their third raise since 2020. And also to maintain what right now is the largest force of police officers we've had since before 2020. So maintaining all of those core functions of government without breaking the budget. The budget's balanced. Yes, it might be narrow, but it's balanced. And also without raising taxes. I want to say there are mayors across the state right now who are facing a decision, and I actually know some of them personally, of where to cut or where to raise millage. Well, we're not raising millage here, not in this budget. Even though in today's economy, as we all know, and as we all see every day, the price of everything is going up. Price of gasoline for our Natchez Transit, for our police vehicles, for our fire vehicles, for our public works vehicles. That alone constitutes a large increase. Price of supplies, price of contract services, price of doing anything in America has been raised exponentially since 2020, since the COVID pandemic. In fact, in some cases, I understand, and we don't have to get into specifics, some prices have not just doubled or tripled, they have quadrupled. Yet, we continue to function within the framework of a balanced budget and also, as I said again, millage rates that are unchanged since 2016 and remain the lowest in our area. There are people who have complained about assessments. Assessments are done by the county. They are not done by the city. I am hopeful that the assessments have been caught up, and that's a good thing. But I also will say this, and I said it at our last meeting, if we want to complain about assessments, then you might as well complain about property values going up, because we do have an improved economy in this city. And if we want to go back to the days when our assessments were at the basement level, because property values here were at the basement level, because things just weren't happening, you can go there without me. I will never apologize for an economy that is growing, that is resulting in an increase in the value of our homes and businesses, because that is what good government is all about. Getting an economy growing so that property values increase, so that we don't have to increase taxes or millage rates, but overall, we will see properties that were vacant, occupied, as I said in the last meeting, $150 million and counting in new construction and renovation. And these are properties that at one time were not producing much in the way of taxes and now are. These are good days in Natchez. And I am getting very tired of hearing people more and more saying negative things about our city, when we all should be grateful for the progress we have made. I want to say also, Madam Clerk, you've done an expert job. In spite of criticism you receive and we all receive, I want to say it again for the record. This budget, this proposed budget's in balance, and we have balanced the budget every year since I've been mayor. We have to by state law. Also, I want to say this. I'm getting tired of the lies that are being put out on social media about city finances, about overdraft fees, by people who know absolutely nothing about city finances and who have never even bothered to attend a meeting. And yet they seem to be online experts on everything financial about this city. Well, as someone who is involved in this day by day, working hard to meet the needs of our citizens, to maintain good services, and to do it all within a framework of a balanced budget during a time where everything in America is going up, and yet we're keeping things level here. I just frankly don't have time for that conversation. Now, speaking of time, I've said enough. I've said enough. But I wanted to say it because there's too much work that goes into, especially by you, Madam Clerk, that goes into this process to get us to a place where we are tonight. I hope we're very close to being able to, next week, approve this budget. I'll now open the floor for questions and discussion. Yes, Alderman Davis.
I was counting on the fire department on here, this list. It counts a total of 40. But if you take 4, and that's including the vacancies.
Yes.
And we take the vacancies away, that's 36. And take the other 4 away, the administrative one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's 32. You need 39 for the with them 4 vacancies. That'll be 36. Need at least 3 more, so we're good with the rating bureau.
Okay, all right.
That's the thing about that with the fire department.
Thank you,
We
Alderman.
need 3 more slots on here.
Okay, Madam Clerk, do you
I
have any?
actually received an
comment on
email
that?
this afternoon from the fire chief, and we discussed that, and that is something that I'm working on for draft 4.
Okay,
Okay.
But it was not something I could get done in time for today's meeting.
Okay.
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alderman Davis.
I have a question.
Yes,
How
good to
much-
see you, Alderman Frazier. Yes,
Good
sir.
evening, good evening, I'm sorry, I'm a little late. How much increase are we looking for the fire department?
I'll let the city clerk answer that question.
I'm sorry, so are you talking about the raises that were requested within that department?
Yes,
Was $1 per hour raise is what was requested and what has been included in this draft.
$1 an hour.
Yeah.
That's on a 24-hour basis?
So-
$1 hour, 24-hour basis?
So
Yeah.
we have some employees at the fire department that average $2,080 hours per year, and some that are, I think, $2,989. It's how the shift hours
Yeah, that-
constitute full-time. So it differs.
Okay, so are the Natchez Fire Department, in line with other fire departments of their size? Because I am very concerned about the firemen. These guys do a wonderful job, but they're still underpaid.
Could I ask the fire chief to come? We had a very good meeting on this very issue on Friday. I had a very good meeting also with Alderman Davis. Chief Arrington, would you like to answer? I know it seems like a small amount, but when you multiply it out, it gets them up.
So
Quite a-
the
quite a bit more.
24-hour shift personnel, they work average 29, 28. That's what they average a year. The office personnel is the 2080. This increase will bring them closer to departments of our size. Rome wasn't built in a day. So this will be a very good help for our department. Yes, sir.
So now, on actuality, this is a step forward.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. 'Cause like I say, I think they deserve more than what they get. And it's just my personal opinion. I think our fire department is underpaid. Because I think they should be equal to the police department. That's an issue for another day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's my understanding this will constitute between the $2,500 and $3,500 annual increase in pay.
That's correct.
And this will actually get them within striking distance of what our police officers are making as starting pay, and also above other fire departments in our area. Maybe not all of them.
Not all, yes, not
But
all of
some
them, but
of them.
some, yes.
Yeah.
You said the major word, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
It's
sir.
striking distance.
Yes, sir.
That's not even striking distance. Okay, thank you.
I like what you said. Rome wasn't built in a day. But I do want to say, when's the last time our firefighters got, goodness, this will be, I just said it, how many raises since 2020?
This will be number 3.
Number 3. Yeah. So, that's good. That's good. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, Alderwoman.
Oh, no, it's not for you, Chief. That's okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Aaron.
Last week, we went into executive session to discuss some personnel
Yes.
issues relative to what we've asked the clerk to do. I would like for us to do that again tonight.
Oh, certainly, we can. I would like to do that if I could after we've had more general discussion on the budget itself. So I'd like to continue to entertain general discussion. Alderman Maroney?
I just got a question for Megan. Did you say our cushion is about $27,000?
In the general fund, with this proposed budget as it sits in draft 3, we would have $27,000 balance in the general fund at the end of fiscal year '27.
All right, and what was budgeted as that cushion last year and the year before? Do we have any idea? And roundabout, it doesn't have to be
Right.
exact. I'm just wondering, that just seems awfully close. Because I know throughout the year, we always have little things that pop up, and that just concerns me.
I don't have fiscal year '25, current fiscal year, the original budget had a cushion of about $427,000.
Okay. So our cushion is dropping by about $400,000, okay? And it's still a cushion. But we'll all have to realize as we go through the year that when special, you know, if we adopt this, when something special comes up, the answer's just gonna have to be no.
That's right.
I mean, the money's not gonna be there. We're not gonna be able, we need to all realize this, that is, we're not gonna be able to grant special whatever, special funding for things that come up throughout the year. I mean, we are gonna be really, really tight if we adopt this budget. And that just scares me a little bit. Scares me a lot, actually.
It does. I mean, and that's with cutting over 2 million out of the original request. Alderwoman Smith?
I absolutely want to reiterate what you said, because I know what we've needed this year, what we've had to use the general fund for, and we've been fortunate to be able to do that. And when the city clerk says it looks like we would be into a $500,000 to $700,000 deficit for 28, that concerns me very much so. So I don't know if this is going to be a budget that I'm comfortable with.
She's not projecting that large a deficit. But obviously, we can't predict what happens, what doesn't happen. One thing, though, that I like about this budget is it does accomplish everything the alderman wanted accomplished in our meetings for the most part. But with that said, it does provide $1 million in special projects in public works. It provides for the needed additional vehicles for police to keep every police officer that's now hired on the street. There's definitely a higher cost to public safety now because we do have more officers that, working than we've had in years. But I also know this, we are having so many ribbon cuttings, so many new businesses. I am very optimistic that we're going to see our economy here continue to grow and we will see collections improve. This is, though, why it's also very important that we understand that when we have the opportunity to have new development in Natchez, be it residential or commercial, we need to be all about it because we need those tax dollars. It's either have the tax dollars come from new development and increased property taxes because of that new development, or increased millage, which I'm not willing to consider. Because I believe our millage rate, as I've already said, it is what it is, has been since 2016. I don't see that we need to change that. Now, if we want to find more cuts, we haven't passed this budget yet. We're discussing it. But I would say this, we've been putting a lot of, all of the work on our city clerk and on our department directors. I would say, Alderman, now is the time. If you see some areas in here that, we need to cut further, we certainly can consider that.
Ms. Mayor,
But do we have?
Yes,
special-
Alderwoman
one of the things
Irving.
I want to say is with our public works too, and I think you alluded to it earlier, but
Yes.
since that's one of my commission, we were able to give a 6% increase to all the workers in those departments, whether it was traffic, they're getting a 6% increase, highway and streets, they're getting a 6% increase, and so is the sanitation department getting a 6% increase. Those CDL drivers, they're getting a $2 per hour per $2 per hour increase in their wage. And so that's a good thing. Hopefully that makes us more competitive, whereas we could retain and be able to hire new workers coming in. Spoke with Mr. Dollar today, and he's very pleased with the staff that he has. They're motivated, self-motivated to want to learn and retain these people for a longer period of time. So he's pretty excited about that. And we were also able to get the sweeper that he's wanted to get. We have a new sweeper that we'll be getting this year as well.
And just hired a new operator for the sweeper.
Okay.
I believe today.
Okay, he didn't share that with me, but he, we talked for a length of time, he did not,
It's
so.
very recent.
Okay. Also, I wanted to say too, I'm just listening to her giving the amount that we have. As of now, with the balanced budget is 27,000, but last year was even less. And so, in the year before even, I mean, I can go back and, you can go back and look at your paperwork. It's been on a decline for a number of years. So, as you said, Mayor, new business, new residential, because that shows growth. That shows growth. When we have new businesses, new residents being built, so we welcome those things here because that does increase our tax base. That does increase our tax base. But one of the things that I am looking at that we were not able to, and it still said, cut our summer youth program. Cut our summer youth program. That's something that's really, really needed. And again, if we're hiring students for WBL, work-based learning, that's what this is as well. This is an extension of this. So we really need to find a way to look to adding this back in our budget.
As we have discussed, the budget is very tight. And if you want to suggest areas, you know, we're giving raises, we're investing in our existing full-time personnel. We have also cut full-time positions that were not filled, and so we are reducing the size of government by attrition. But I don't think we've been able to find the money to keep that part of it going.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman
I
Hall.
think the issue is, how can we justify hiring students during the year, but not hiring students in the summer?
Summer.
Because when they came to us a few weeks ago from the school board asking for this, I don't think there was a vote to do that. I think we said that was a good idea.
And we'll
We
take
love
that
the
into
idea, but there was not a vote to hire those students throughout the school year.
So how many have we hired?
One in records, and we did that because we needed the additional help there in order to keep municipal court going, and for the police department not to fall behind in records. But also, I would say this, the students that are being placed from the job training program at Fallon are at a place where, you know, they're ready for more responsibility within the workplace. But if we do need a vote from the board to approve that hire in records, I believe the city clerk and the police chief were able to find that within his budget, and it is within his prerogative as a department director when he has a vacancy in the department to fill that vacancy, and that is what he did.
That's not the issue.
That's what he did. Alderman Frazier?
Let me elaborate on that. For years and years, before you got in office and everybody else got in office, we always did have students working out there. And that's something that I don't know when they stopped, but they always had students who worked there, at least two students. We had one come in the morning and one come in the evening, because they I think those students had other jobs. But it's always been like that. I'm not trying to justify for the police department, but we always had high school students working out there.
Thank you, Alderman Frazier.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Alderwoman
Yes,
Hall.
it is his prerogative to hire. The issue was, how can we justify hiring students
Right.
from Fallon to work throughout the school year, and we're not gonna hire students to work in the summer?
Okay, I'm open to where we cut in order to make that,
Well, how do we have the
you know,
money now
ability.
to do that?
Because we had a vacancy in records. That person is filling a budgeted position in the records.
Okay, so I didn't hear that.
Yes,
So
that
what dollar?
person is, am I right, chief? We had a vacancy, and so this was an opportunity to fill that vacancy with a highly qualified, exceptional student. And Chief, I believe you're very pleased, are you not? You shared that with me just a little earlier when we were at the office, just actually about an hour ago. Alderman Maroney?
I'm all for student workers. I think it's great for them to get some actual workplace experience. And I think if a department head has got some work that needs to be done, and it's within his budget, if he's got it if that department head has got the money in their budget to hire a student worker on a temporary basis or, part-time or whatnot, that might be a very efficient use of some of their money to hire a student worker. But I think they should do that out of their budget on their own. I don't think that as, whole of city government should dictate and say, okay, you have to hire a student worker, you have to hire a student worker, you have to hire a student worker, we're going to pay for it. And first of all, we've already talked about, we don't have a whole lot of extra money. I think we need to leave it to the department heads. There may be a time of year where, Ryan in recreation could really use some extra help, and he's got it in his budget, he's got the money, and there's some students available, and he can get them out there for 2-3 weeks or however long he needs some extra help. That's great. But I don't think we need to do a blanket program. I think we need to leave it to the department heads and let them run their departments and hire who they feel they need and who's the best use of the money in their budget.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Alderwoman Irving?
I just want to ask our city clerk, where did we get the money allocated from? What department was that? Because I think
It was its own department. Basically, it was set up as its own department within the general fund in years past.
Okay. And so that dollar amount was approximately?
It was about $65,000 to $70,000 a year that we spent on that program.
I thought it was 40.
I think
40 to
when it
60.
initially started, it was 40, but then that was the first time I was the city clerk. By the time I came back, it was $65,000 to $70,000 a year that was being spent on that program.
Okay. Okay.
But it is my understanding that our department directors, as Alderman Maroney said, do have the prerogative to hire those student workers when they
Could be a
see
very
the need.
efficient use of their money.
Right. Just wanted to reiterate that, though, so that there's not any confusion. And also, so that our department directors will be encouraged to do that when they need help and the money is in their budget. Alderwoman Smith?
I was just going to ask the city clerk, I don't recall us ever budgeting 98% of our ad valorem. Have we ever done that?
So in the past, we have always played it safe and budgeted 95%, but I will say in the past several years, we have come in over that 95% and we're closer to the 98.
Okay. Thank you, Alderwoman. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I
Any
have one
further
other
discussion?
question.
Alderwoman Irving?
This is without policy. How many vacancies do we have to fill in our police department too?
In this budget, 0.
What? None?
No vacancies budgeted.
So we're, I won't say the numbers. I was just looking.
I will say this. The police department, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, but the police department now is more fully staffed than it has been since about 2018. I believe that's correct, since Chief Armstrong, around 2018.
No. It was more part 2. Now, that's Daughtry is where we lost 16 to 18
I'm
officers.
saying, if you look at our numbers going back to 2018, I don't have those numbers. Yeah, it could be 2018, 2019, but I know this.
16 to 18.
Since I've been mayor, since 2020, I know we now have more staffed positions in police than we've had since I became mayor. But we can get those numbers for everyone if you need them.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
I would like for, I see on the budget on page 6, that for inmate, medicine, drugs, hospital expenses, only $10,000 is budgeted for that. Now, our inmates are going to Concordia Parish, and the state of Louisiana normally does not negotiate between states. They prefer to do in-house inmates within their parishes. However, each sheriff has the authority to negotiate, which what Sheriff Hedrick has done with Chief Best. But the state of Louisiana charges $35 per day. We're paying Concordia Parish $35 per day. So I would like for, while possible, Mr. Attorney and Mr. Best to look into this. What is the actual cost legally we should be paying for inmates in Concordia Parish?
Okay. Thank you, Alderwoman Hall.
Because also hospitalization and medicine are paid from the city. We pay that once they go into the hospital, not Concordia Parish.
And then one other
That's
thing,
correct.
if I
Alderwoman
could
Irving?
add to that, anything over 30 days, day 31, it's a different price as well. So that's to be considered as well.
That's only for county.
Oh, it's only for county?
That's for county.
Okay.
We're speaking about Louisiana.
Okay. But,
Thank you.
but we're housed over there. Still, that's only for county. We're still housed over there over 31, over.
I think we're putting our city inmates in Concordia Parish.
Our city inmates. And then when they're bound over to the county, things change.
Once they're bound over to a grand jury, then they become the county.
They become county. All right, further
I'm just making
discussion?
sure, because I know it changes the fee
I
as
do
well.
want to also point out, we're continuing our annual appropriation of the Boys and Girls Club. We're continuing our annual appropriation of the Natchez Adams County Humane Society, of our very good partnership with Natchez Spay Neuter, our very good partnership also with Hoof Beach Paw Prints Animal Rescue. We are also continuing here just a number of important services for our citizens. Our farmers market, our support of Natchez Inc., economic development. We are continuing to also support our part of the ongoing success we are trying to achieve at the Natchez Adams County Airport. We also are successfully taking care of the additional 0.05% that has to be put into PERS for all of our employees. And that is a mandate that we have no choice but to pay, and it will increase 0.05% every year until 2030. We're taking care of that. We also have in here all of the equipment, supplies, vehicles, including additional police vehicles. We have more officers now, and that's requiring us to purchase more vehicles so that they have vehicles when they're on duty. More officers, more vehicles, more equipment. All of that is in here. And we also are literally taking on the chin the increased gas costs at Natchez Transit, the increased gas costs, as I said earlier, through all our departments, the increased supplies, the increased wages, as we've just described, without any additional taxes to our citizens. If anyone wants to criticize that, go right ahead, I think. I think it's a good thing. Alderwoman Hall?
Yes, on page 1,
Yes,
on the DRA Workforce Development Grant reimbursement,
yes.
this discusses with the clerk. However, there's $100,000 proposed reimbursement, but the three entities have always paid the salary for the workforce, for the building trade, or the workforce development coordinator. And we should continue that, although we're sure we're not gonna get anything from the county. We haven't in 4 years or 6 years gotten anything from them. But there's only $206,000 in that grant. And that grant runs through 2027, April 13th, 2027, which we have contracted with Ms. Williams for. So
With
I know
Ms.
there was some
Davis.
discussion
And yes,
that,
Ms. Williams to
there was some
administrate. that's
discussion
right.
that perhaps Ms. Lakeisha Davis's salary could come from the grant. That money is specifically for the building program. So we should continue to pay her from our entity.
And that's how it's happening
Okay,
right now.
thanks.
That's right. Thank you, Alderwoman Hall. Alderwoman Smith?
Did I see correctly, there's no appropriation for GIS mapping?
No, that is
Could you repeat that?
I was asking if there, I thought I saw that there was no appropriation for GIS mapping.
no, 30,409. It's the same thing that we had in there last year.
Okay, it just says no by it, I thought.
There
No,
was a
that's-
request.
That's the one under it that was removed.
There was a request that we take up the amount that has been paid in prior years by the Natchez Water Works for, is it for these services?
Right,
And we, in the communication with the director, Jeff Gamberry, received his agreement to request that their board continue their share of funding that service. And so that additional service does not come back on the city of Natchez budget.
They requested an increase last year, and
Yeah.
we did do a partial for what their request was, and I've carried that same amount over this year.
Because I
And the
think
amount
last
that
year,
Natchez Water Works was carrying, they are going to continue to carry.
Thank you.
Yes. Alderman Maroney?
if I recall, last year Waterworks was dropping their support of it. Is what, and are you saying Waterworks is back on board?
Yes, they are.
Okay, good.
They are.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an important service.
Met with Mark Godfrey about 3 weeks ago, and at his request, I reached out to Jeff Gamberry, and Mr. Gamberry answered in the affirmative that they
Good.
would continue to bring it up, to pay it, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of city, I mean, Waterworks and a lot of city departments I know use that,
Utilize
use
that.
that service.
Very important. Alderwoman Irvin?
Okay, on page 4, I just want to ask for publishing and advertising. I see 2 of our, well, an employee that does our publishing and advertising, and is that a salary together, or is that their salary each?
We actually don't pay a salary. That's a
Well,
contracted
contract,
service.
is that a contract
Publishing and
service?
advertising
Is that for
when
both,
we-
Megan, or is that individually?
That amount is combined.
Okay,
That
that's,
you're seeing there with the 2 names?
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's a combined amount.
okay. Thank you.
People get confused, but we have a contract, and then that other line item, 25,000, that's for advertising and local publications, and then the services that are rendered for the city is the other amount.
Mr. Mayor, I also wanted to
Yes,
ask too,
Alderwoman Irvin.
there's no appropriation for Natchez Business and Civic League, and I want to ask, could we reinstate that, their appropriation for $1,000?
I believe we support their banquet every year, which is a support for the organization. Is that not in here?
No, sir.
I think
It is. It is
I think so.
on page 10, 4th line from the bottom, and it
So-
is still in there for the $1,000.
I didn't see it.
Page
It
10,
said-
4 lines up from the bottom, Natchez Business and
Natchez
Civic
Business
League.
Civic League, there it is,
Yes, isn't it?
on page 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor.
just above
Did
Parks
you,
and Recreation.
Megan, then I have a question. Did you receive their invoice?
I have not yet, unless it was brought into the office downstairs. It was not emailed to me, so I've been in and out with municipal court and this. I have not personally seen it.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
We
Alderwoman
would
Hall?
have to do a resolution for Washington Street Cemetery.
Yes, yes.
And I think David Jenkins has sent in a request to cut.
That increase is included
That's
in this
there?
draft,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And we have discussed also with him, and in the meeting, in the regular meeting to follow this special call meeting, we do need to discuss tree limbs that are down there. The cemetery is a
Put
challenge.
it included in this 14,000.
And I believe we have ample funds in our current budgeted amount to take care of that. Because of the drought, he has not been cutting as often. Am I right, Madam Clerk?
Actually, in the current year, we budgeted 10,000. We have to date spent 10,195. So, with the proposed amendments would bring it to 14,995, which would accommodate that work. But that has not yet been approved.
And again, with the drought, I think we're going to end up in good shape there budget-wise. Of course, I pray we don't have another drought next year, but that always impacts upon the cost of grass cutting overall in the city. I will say this includes the contracts for taking care of the right-of-ways. There has been a lot of conversation about those contracts. We, I believe, are getting good rates on maintaining the right-of-ways through the city. There was a time, again, not only have costs gone up, but also unfunded mandates from the state down to the cities. For example, just a few years ago, the state of Mississippi, MDOT, took care of their right-of-ways all through our city. And then they stopped doing that. That fell on the city. We did not increase taxes. We just found it, and we're paying that contract. We get calls quite often upset about MDOT and how they're maintaining the right-of-ways outside of the city limits. I do want to give a thanks to Commissioner Charles Busby because the complaints we were getting regarding the medians down toward Jefferson College, medians toward Route 61, we passed that on to MDOT, and I believe that very day crews were out cutting that grass. But I do need the citizens to understand, we are taking care of these right-of-ways that are in the city, and those numbers, contracts are in this budget. Now, what's outside the city, we can't by law maintain.
I was just gonna.
Yes,
Since
Alderwoman
you're
Irving.
mentioning it, the MLK cleanup, is that in here as well?
I believe we are planning to do that more in-house going forward, utilizing our city crews and inmates.
Okay.
We are definitely going to make sure that the gutters and all are cleaned. And also, we will have, as you know, our new street sweeper, and that will help tremendously.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman
Just a
Hall.
clarification on publishing and advertising. There are two separate ones on page 3. There's 18,000 proposed. And on page 4, there is $25,000 proposed for publishing and advertising. Can you speak on that?
I'll ask the clerk too, if we have made a mistake there.
No, we haven't.
I don't-
So the one
I'm not
on
sure.
page 4 is the one that the mayor spoke about a little while ago. That is for advertising and local publications. For instance, when we advertise in the school football programs and different things like that, that the mayor handles those advertisements. The one on page 3 that you mentioned, that is for our legal advertising. For instance,
Oh, yes.
legal notices for public hearings, advertising, publishing the budget in the newspaper, all of those types of advertising and publishing come out of that line item.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Okay. All right, do we have,
What's our fund balance?
For which fund?
The overall general
General fund
general
budget?
fund?
we are carrying over a surplus, Megan.
Get to that page.
It's-
On page 11, we are carrying over surplus of $252,000 with the proposed amendments this year.
I have one more, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Alderwoman Hall.
On page 30, at the very bottom, Fry Building repayment, 41,000 is proposed, $41,017, and there's a question mark, which fund, or what is?
So that project overall is in here budgeted. That is for the loan repayment. Staff could probably answer questions a little better pertaining to that. He is the one that's been handling that project. But
I don't mind answering.
okay, I was gonna say, I think the hope
We-
is that we are not gonna
we,
need that loan full amount.
We always budget for these just in case. items. And we don't get into discussing that too much because we always want a little leeway in the budget. We do. But you identify too much of that leeway and all of a sudden it's getting spent. But I will tell you, and this is something I'm very happy to answer to. We worked very hard to get a $1.2 million grant through the EPA to address the asbestos abatement at the Fry Building, which is underway right now, and the eventual demolition of the building. At that time, we did not know what the bids would come in like, and so just in case, we did apply for a very low-interest loan through DEQ, and just in case we needed it. By all indications, we are not going to need it, and so that gives us a little leeway in the budget. But I would rather keep it there because we need some leeway.
So, Mr. Mayor. 41,000 is?
Is that?
It says 41,000.
So down at the bottom, those are just kind of my notes
Mm-hmm.
of if this is going to happen, I'm going to have to find where to put that within the budget.
Right, and I don't
But,
believe it's going to
Hang
happen.
on just a second, and I can give you the fund where that project is currently.
And even though we applied for it, we never took it. We have
Correct.
received no loan funds for any portion of the Fry Building project, and I don't anticipate that we will.
So the rest of that project is budgeted through fund number 350, which is on page 28. And you'll see that the rest of the expense, all of that is budgeted. That was just a reminder note for me at the bottom, if that were to come up, that we need to plug that.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion?
I would like to see us then, Mayor, since you mentioned that, create a rainy day fund.
We have had one. We have had one. I would say that these areas that are leeway, as we go throughout the year, they will become our rainy day fund. That's what we've done generally in the past. But I'll leave it up to all, the clerk, recommendations on how to handle that.
What would y'all like to do? Create a rainy day fund? Just asking the board, getting the consensus.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman
unless we're
Smith.
cutting back, I mean, that, we've always had the surplus in the general fund, a bigger one, and that was somewhat of our rainy day fund.
Yeah.
But this is not gonna have to be one, so that's the thing that we're gonna either vote to do or not. Not have one or do it if this is what you're gonna pass.
If we want to establish it, we are gonna have to make more cuts. I will say this, there are some things that we know will come this next year that we are not able to talk about right now. But when these things come to pass, we're gonna have a better budget year than we anticipate. But I'd rather not get into talking about those things and counting eggs before they hatch.
One more, just.
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
On page 1, under Grand Gulf, 001000278. Where does that, those funds that are generated?
What page are you
Revenue,
on?
on page
One.
1, it says Grand Gulf,
Tax.
168,400. So is that revenue generated? from
That is,
Grand
that-
Gulf, and where does that money go?
That is going into funding the general fund. Those are funds that we get from the state, from Grand Gulf. The state then passes on to, I don't know if the counties get that too, or if it's just cities
So it comes from the
within that
state.
area. Yes, but those
From
funds
Grand
come from the
Gulf.
state and they go into helping fund the general fund.
All right. Any further discussion? Would everyone agree that we are closer now than we have been? And we do have another week to go. Our public hearing on the budget is next week, correct?
It's on September 8th.
September
So
the
when we
8th.
return from the Labor Day holiday.
It's on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m.
That's correct.
All right, thank you. And we will be getting a special call notice out soon for that, because we will have an opportunity to discuss further the budget during that hearing, and also during the meeting in which that hearing is being
We
held.
will have our regular meeting that morning at 11, correct? On the 8th?
Yes.
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 Yep, and there's actually a public hearing scheduled at the first meeting for taxi service, and then by state law, we have to hold the budget public hearing outside of regular hours, so that's why we scheduled it for 6 o'clock.
So
For
regular
6
meeting at
o'clock.
11, then we'll. have
Regular
that
meeting at
one
11, and
Yeah.
then the hearing is 6. All right, any further discussion?
I was just looking, Mayor, I
Yes.
did see that our sales tax for the actual had decreased. Is that, am I looking at that right?
Yes,
With
ma'am.
that?
We are looking at a small decrease there.
As we know, the national economy has affected everyone. Gas prices need to come down, no doubt. And that has cut into everyone's ability to spend money, and that affects sales taxes. However, we still have months to collect. Actually, in September, we will get the check for, is it
July.
July?
What was collected in July will
What
be
was
settled to
collected.
us in September.
What was collected in July?
So that will be
Um,
added to the actual for 26?
And that will be added to the actual when we get that check in September.
The proposed amendments are very likely to change. These were done, goodness, what day? At the end of July. And so I am looking and tracking, the actual expenses. And so there may be some adjustments to the proposed amendments, because we try to get those as close to actual. But of course, that has to be adopted before we get to the end. So we project them out as best we can.
That's right. All right, I'll entertain a motion now to have a closed determination for an executive session that might be held. Alderwoman Hall has made the motion. Alderman Davis has seconded that motion. We will have discussion. We'll call a question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We now will have that closed determination right here in the open. We do have a discussion needed for certain personnel matters pertaining to job performance and compensation as it relates to that job performance. Mr. Attorney, does this meet the requirements of state law for us to be able to have an executive session?
It does, under Mississippi Code annotated section 2541-7. Exceptions to the Open Meetings Act include discussions of personnel matters relating to job performance, character, professional competence, or other material matters relating to personnel. And as such, it constitutes an exception to the Open Meetings Act and is appropriate for executive session.
All right, thank you so much. Any further discussion? I'll call for a motion to adjourn our closed determination and return to regular session. Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. At this time, I'd like a motion to go into executive session for the purposes that have been previously described.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. At this moment, we will stop the live feed. We will come back and give a report after we conclude our executive session. And then our regular meeting will start at 6 p.m.